Welcome to Global Insiders Podcast. I am Ryan, the Peripatetic One, bringing you information about opportunities relating to jobs, traveling, and any information that can elevate you to your rightful place in this thing called life. You can find more information and how-to methods on globalinsidersgroup.com. That is insiders with an S. And here is today's show. In today's episode, I am happy to have Mr. Denton Williams as my guest. Denton is the definition of a serial entrepreneur. So if you have ever wondered about what it takes to start your own business, today you will be quite informed about this matter. Welcome to the show, Denton.
Thanks for having me, man.
How are you?
I'm very well.
All right, great. Please introduce yourself to the audience.
Well, as stated earlier, named Denton Williams. I'm the director of Wilden Group of Companies.
Nice. So, give me a rough estimate of how many businesses you have had over the years.
Well, if memory should recall, I've successfully oversee or operate 6 different companies. I don't know if you'd want me to, give you a brief description.
Sure, if you can go into it, of course. I mean, yes.
Well, my first business was Universal Deal, right?
Okay.
I proceed to deal with Envisage Technology that deals with, technology item where Envisage Technology actually deals with technology items, supplying, printers,
Okay.
any electronic or technology device that the schools or offices might have needs for.
Yes. Okay.
Then I proceed to deal with JamaicaStuff.com. That was basically the first .com store in Jamaica.
Oh.
Believe it or not, right?
Yeah.
That was geared to basically introduce Jamaica products to people all over the world,
Okay.
right? It was mainly souvenirs, authentic Jamaican product. And the inspiration came from, people that wanted a piece of Jamaica, right? That didn't have the opportunity to come to that land or that island.
Okay.
I give them the opportunity to browse online, see the authentic product, just make a click, get that product in a cart, and have it shipped directly to them, right?
Yes.
Um,
Do you remember
I have
which
some
year? Do you
challenges.
remember which year this was?
That was
Roughly.
in 1999.
Wow. Really like a long time ago before all this
Yes.
Amazon craze and all this eBay
Right.
craze and all of that type of thing. As I call it, Web 2.0. So wow, great.
Right. So if you notice, I said that was the first .com store in Jamaica.
Yes, you did.
Right. When I made the transition to the United States, this was a different platform, and it was like an eye opener. I started this first company, Wilden Trading Distribution. If you might notice, in further conversation, we'll talk about the Wilden brand, right?
Yes.
So this business now that I started in the United States, and this was back in 2011, I started it. This was like 7 years ago.
Yes.
Wilden Trading and Distribution, where I undertake the responsibility to help small business like online sellers and local retailers to basically facilitate they having products in their stores or in their business. So I said there are products that's in demand that they're unable to actually get to them. So I undertake the responsibility to import from China.
Okay.
Right? So, different products. There it can be different specialty products, electronic products, and online sellers, and also local retailers.
Okay.
Right. So I just facilitate the process of them having or moving the product from China, Asia to the United States, because they have their fair challenges in terms of ordering quantity.
Oh.
So the quantity that they wanted at the time, they maybe not in a position to go directly to China. Now the whole scenario has changed where even the consumer can basically go to the manufacturer in China. So the game actually started, changing in that direction. So that business was actually a business that I undertake in 2011, yes. Right? Just to talk a little bit briefly on a current business that I'm very passionate about, yes. Is I actually changed the game a little bit and gone into the actual construction management, right? What this business does is basically deals with the construction or the management of construction. What actually prompted me to do or to get into this business, is the fact that I want to create a real estate portfolio for myself.
Okay.
Now, doing such a business will actually enlighten me or, give me the necessary knowledge or experience to basically facilitate that, that smooth transition of running or creating that real estate portfolio. Because obviously, that we have been working all these years and there comes a point when we won't be able to do it anymore.
Yes.
So at the end of the day, we want to have something substantial that we can earn from even when we're on the cruise or in the rocking chair, yes. Or, taking our last breath, on the bed and yes. all of that. So, so that inspires me to go into the construction management and I see it as a gateway to create or to establish that that real estate portfolio. Okay. So that was just a synopsis of, basically some of the business that I've done over the years and some of the business that I'm still doing currently.
All right. Well, I mean, you have a very long track record and a good record of doing business. What lit that entrepreneurship spirit in you the first time? What really did that for you? Because most persons, we go to school and we study and then, we hope for the best, basically. But something in you, made you decide that you didn't really want to go that route. You wanted something else. What was that?
Well, to be honest with you, if you know me well. Freedom is very important to me. Independence, the ability to be in control. That's basically what lit or give me the drive
yes.
to go full entrepreneurship, because freedom is priceless. Being independent, it's like priceless. The ability to be in control is everyone's desire. Unfortunately, some will be able, some can't. But that's basically what
drove you.
That drives me to in that direction.
Okay, nice. So many persons want to start a business in the United States, but they are fearful and ignorant to how to start. However, Global Insiders was created to obliterate such ignorance. So please give us an entrepreneurship roadmap for the United States. Well,
I might not be able to give you a specific or definite roadmap. It basically have to do with the individual. The individual have to see that vision, right? First and foremost, you have to be willing to take that risk. Whether you're going to make money or you're not going to make money, first you have to be able to take that risk. That's the first step, right? You have to forget about the speculation, if it's going to work or not going to work. You have to first believe in yourself, believe in what you're doing. Coupled with that, there are some fundamental principles that's vital in starting any business. As you mentioned the word ignorance, we have to educate ourselves about what we're doing or what we're about to do. So proper research is the key thing, right? Finding a niche, right? Finding demand for whether the product or the service that you're trying to create or trying to offer. And I will tell you this, most of all, even most importantly than capital or anything else, a team. You have to have the proper team in place, because you will never be able to do everything, even when you're the person with the vision, you're the person with the knowledge, the skills, all that. You will never be able to do it for yourself. So a
But
proper
just to stick
team
up in there.
is the
But what
key.
about persons who
Right.
do not have like, when you say team, we're thinking you need money to pay persons to help you. But what about the persons who they're
Right.
just starting and they have no money really, but they're trying to get by? How can they start a team? How can they, how do they go about this?
Well, you have to just start from where you
Yes.
are. And like myself, I did it, but if I should do it again, I would do it a little bit different. Now, even though it's sometimes painful and it can be very tedious, but if you're able to persevere, you'll be do it. But it's just that you'll get to the destination at a slower pace. And I give you an example of what I mean. Initially, when I started business, I was trying to do sales, I was trying to do marketing, I was trying to do promotion, I was trying to do research, I was trying to do
Yes.
everything. And I realized that after a while, it will actually burn you out. It's doable, but you have to be passionate about doing it for you to be able to even, you know, finish successful. But as I said, if I should do it again, I wouldn't do it that way. And with the experience and the knowledge over the years, it taught me that, listen, regardless of what, you have to have a team in place, even if you get volunteers, right? I learned some stuff along the way where you might not necessarily have money to pay people to do this, to do research, to do this, but you have people who basically want to have the credit to associate themselves with your business that are willing to even do it for free because them themselves are passionate. They want to have a guide. They want to have someone beside them to see how things are being done. And on account of that, they're actually willing to do it and do it for free. So there are many ways of doing it without having the money to pay people. But so those are some of the ways you can use to accomplish
Okay,
it.
nice. Well, I mean, you said a lot about starting the business and what person should do. But what major challenge do you think person should anticipate when starting a business?
Well, to be honest with you, never you anticipate a challenge. Always be optimistic and see success. If the challenges come, you deal with it the appropriate way based on how you see fit. Again, it's very difficult for me to say or to state how to handle those challenges because challenges can be quantified in many different ways, right? But it's basically how you see it. You can either see the glass half full or half empty. And based on how you interpret that, you can, either perceive it to be good or perceive it to be bad. Sometimes the so-called challenges can be preparing you for something big, and the so-called challenges, based on how you perceive it, it can actually defeat you. So I will say, never anticipate challenge. If it arises, deal with it the best way you can to your
Okay, I like
ability.
that answer. I didn't expect it, but I like that
Yeah.
answer a lot.
So right. So basically, I would say to anyone, never you anticipate challenge. Know that in life it is inevitable, but no, don't go anticipating it like you're waiting for it to happen. So as a director or a CEO of any company, right? Our major task is to make decision, and we make decision based on current situation, having looked at implications, outcome, and all of that. But you have to be able to make that decision within a split second, and hopefully, it will go in your favor. So never anticipate
Okay, so
challenges. Deal with it because it's
yes,
inevitable.
I agree with that. I mean, that's a great answer. I like that. But of
Correct,
course, as you
indeed.
say, we don't anticipate them, but we do have them. So, what major challenge um have you faced over the years, and how did you deal with it?
Right. I could speak specific to. I give you an example. Right. Um, Back in 1999, when I had that online store,
Yes.
JamaicanStuff.com, right? Um, the, the the major challenge I had was shipping from Jamaica, the cost of shipping from Jamaica to the United States or to Europe, or you know, even different parts or different continents of the world, because I had to rely on like FedEx, DHL, and those companies, those courier services. And for example, for one T-shirt, right, authentic Jamaica T-shirt, whether it was yeah, I might not necessarily want to call a name for that specific thing, but I'll just say for a T-shirt. Okay, right. The cost of the T-shirt would be like $12 US, right? And the cost to ship that to the closest destination point from where I was shipping it from was Miami in Florida, right? And that would cost $30. No, the challenge was not to sell it because the market is there for it, but because of what the courier
the markup
was charging me to get it there. Yes, it actually get to the consumer for $42. So right there, it actually diminish or reduce my sales number, because a lot of people are willing to pay $12 for the shirt, but they are not willing to pay the $30 for the shipping. Having to look back in hindsight, what I should have done at that point was just to do bulk shipping to the United States and then do ground shipping from the United States within the United States or even Europe, which would have cost less, which the consumer or the end user would have ended up benefit from that cost saving. So that was the major challenge with that particular business. Now, when I reside or migrate to the United States, I thought to revisit that, because unfortunately, those were the challenges that I had that actually bring that business to a closure, because I had to depend directly on those courier service to move the stuff from point A to point B. However, as I said, over the years with experience and knowledge, and as things evolve, the technology change and things get a little bit more competitive, so you have more options. But that was one of the major challenges I had that actually brought this business to a closure back in 1999. But I mean, I'm still fluent with it. The market is still demanding the product. It's something I could revisit, but so maybe it's something I might revisit back in the future.
So capital is usually a major challenge. How should aspirants deal with this? Persons who want to start a business, how should they deal with this matter?
Well, I will speak specifically in the United States now. Not that I wouldn't speak directly, or I'll speak not generally, but specifically to the United States. There's a lot of opportunity in the United States to get funding, to get grants, to start business, or personal loans, or via facilities like credit cards and all of that, right? Now it depends on how you go about doing it. There are certain programs that exist in the United States now that once you're operating a business for 2 years, or at least 2 years, and you can show or come up with a proposal or a plan as to how or the direction in which the business will go, and show some credibility or some feasibility in the business, you will actually get grants and you can actually get loans.
Is like from This is mostly from the government, or is it from also from banks?
There are government programs like from a county level that like for instance you have one in Florida called SCORE, or basically Small Business Association basically. So you'll have some mentor that you work with, and then after a while they will actually recommend to partnering banks that this is a candidate that has fulfilled certain requirements and they're fit for this, and they will actually facilitate giving you that. Obviously, there are certain requirements that you obviously fulfill. For the banks, to be honest with you, you could go, they're not necessarily going to give like a startup company a loan, but you could go the credit card route, right, to get that funding, which is unsecured. I would encourage anyone to to go that route and to try to endeavor best to service their debts and make it work. Try as best as possible to make it work. And then over a period of time now, when you have a successful relationship with them in terms of like a track record for over 2 years, you can present to them that, listen, I've been operating this business and I've been using credit facility via credit card, but now I want to, try to approach you in getting a personal loan or a business loan. And depends on, the nature of your business or the position that you're in at that point. They will facilitate you. But more importantly than anything, you have to have the credit. So it's always good to preserve your credit. That will facilitate you. Getting or being able to mobilize that capital that you
I like that because earlier
desire.
you said you should definitely believe in whatever business you are doing, and if you believe in the business that you are doing and you're willing to go out and take the risk, I mean, it doesn't take much to use your credit card. I mean, as you said, just make sure that you service it and keep up with it. I mean, I like that very much. So I'm getting a feeling of a positive feeling about the business climate in the States. Am I correct in saying this?
Yes, it is. It is correct. Obviously, I'm not going to say it's like a smooth sailing or it doesn't come with
challenges.
I would want to use the word challenge, but I would say, it can be a little bit difficult based on the platform that you choose or the terrain. But I would say, first and foremost, remember, as an entrepreneur, is a decision that you have made and said, okay, you're not just doing this to do it because I personally don't do it because to make money. First, I do it first because of the love of it, and that's who I am. Now, because I put my all in it, that's where I get the rewards, right? So if you're going to be a person that just say, okay, it's an easy thing and I'm going to do it because I want to make a money or want to provide for my family, that's the wrong approach. You have to believe in it first. And before you can believe in anything, first and foremost, you have to believe in yourself. So you have to enter that, what I would classify it as, that world, right? As, very optimistic and listen, I'm going to work through this, because you're going to have difficulties. Because obviously if it wasn't a difficult thing, everybody would be doing it. But I don't want you to see it as being difficult, because I'm sure if you choose to go to a 9 to 5, you're going to have its own challenges and come with its own difficulties. But as I said, my reason for choosing it is because of the freedom, the independence, and I always want to be in control. And more so, the contribution that I make for others. Because for instance, for people that I, help, that I outsource, whether I employ directly or outsource them for just services or for different things, I feel that sense of satisfaction to be able to contribute back to the society.
Yes, you're hitting some really great notes, really great notes, because when you said that you do it because you put your all into it, so you get the rewards. I mean, that's a gem there, because most persons they just try something, they don't their all, and that is not good enough, really. So definitely I like that. And
right. And what I would say to basically give someone some credit. This famous Jamaican artist Chronix says, you don't do it for the likes, you do it for the love.
That's right. All right, I like that note. So what I'm saying now is, if a friend came to you and said they wanted to start a business in the United States, what would you say to them?
I would say, take your time to do proper research, do some consultation in the area that you're about to venture in. First and foremost, figure out funding. Don't figure out funding partially, but figure it to the end, right? Make sure that you're able to sustain the business for a period of time, knowing that initially when you start a business, it can be like a teething process, right? It's going to drain you. But you have to reach a point before you actually realize the mistake that a lot of people find themselves in, or I wouldn't say mistake, but the pitfall A business, for hypothetically speaking, it requires $110,000 to get on its way in terms of being sustainable, being able to pay the bills and all of that. 110,000. You have $100,000, right? When that is exhausted, the 100,000 is being exhausted. You said, okay, it's all done. I'm going to pack up and I'm going to go home. When you look into it, and if you had examined it properly, you realize that all it requires was 110,000 to get on its way and being sustainable where it becomes profitable. So that's why proper research is very important. Make sure that you have projections. Make sure that you can see not only today but beyond today, right? As I said, as much as possible as you can, do some consultation, find out from people who have done the same thing that you're trying to do, the funding. And if you're in a position also, get a good team on board. If you're unable to, you have to try your best. You have to work night and day because, like for me, I don't have a work hours. Yes. I've always been working. So that might just be you. You have to just work and work through it and just work it until it works out. Because that's how a lot of great people start. I admire some great people, like Steve Jobs, Warren Buffett, some great people, just to name a few and all of that. So, that's how they all started, and they have to just work through. Sometimes you have to start on even your garage until you're able to find, an office space or some warehouse or whatever, depends on the nature of the business that
so as you just said
you're embarking on.
What are some of the things that inspires you, or some of the persons who?
There's a lot of people that inspires me, but I will say this, and this might sound a little bit biased, but I'm inspired by myself, and recently I'm most inspired by my daughter Jade Williams, right? She said to me once, Dad, because she's a very smart kid. She's actually a national achiever by the US standard, right? And yes, indeed, thanks. She said to me once, Dad, I want to design something and I want you to sell it. In a sense, what she's saying, she want to design something and I market it or I make a business out of it. Because she's geared towards the sciences. She's always been doing experiments. She's always trying to discover new stuff. So I have no doubt as to if she will be a pioneer or being an inventor for a product. And I'm trying to figure out or to find out what that thing is. So I just keep nurturing that idea, supporting her, everything that she says she want to do, because you don't know when that light bulb gonna go off and she say, okay, this is it, Dad. So I'm inspired by her, but first I'm inspired by myself.
Very much. So Denton, it's been great. But if people would like to continue the conversation with you, how can they do so?
Well, just to keep it simple, I can be reached at my email address, which is my first name, middle initial F @gmail.com.
Thank you for that.
It's my pleasure. And thank you.
Thank you again for listening, Insiders. And remember, you can continue the conversation with Denton at dentonf@gmail.com. That is F as in Frank. Until next time, take care. And remember, you can be your own superhero.
You can find more helpful and motivational material at globalinsidersgroup.com. That is, insiders with an S. You can also keep in touch at Global Insiders on Instagram.